Hey besties, welcome back to the Vida show. First episode of 2020. This is Julie, and I have with me Josh Hawkins. Thanks for being here, Josh.
Book ending it. Thanks for having me.
Book ending, yeah, because
Yeah.
Josh was here for the last episode of 2019. Oh my gosh, the years. And unfortunately, Chantel was not able to make it today. She has motherly duties. Love her so much. And we have Josh here to help fill in. Great alternate, I would say.
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm definitely strong B string,
Right.
You want to call somebody else.
Totally.
Definitely.
You could be A string. We're working on
awesome.
it.
Thanks.
So, welcome back to the first episode of Vida for 2019. Oh, 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. First mistake of the year.
It's like when you're at school and you come back after the new year and you just keep filling it out.
2019. And then 2020 is hard to change. You know how you make it
you could
just
make it a circle.
Yeah, it's hard with 2019 to 2020. So we're going to be making that mistake for a bit. But I also would like to thank our engineer. We have Dylan on the ones and twos today. And we're so excited.
Ones and twos.
Yeah, so Josh and I are our own soundboard. Super excited about it. We'll work on getting a soundboard this year. I really feel like we can make that happen.
Could that be it? D-Land? We'll talk about it.
Ooh.
It's
I
like
don't know
Dylan.
how I feel about that.
Really?
DJ D-Land.
Oh, yeah. Okay, never mind.
My millennial mind has gone too far. So welcome back.
Edit that out.
But let's also keep it PG. Jesus. Today is a big day. Today, we're going to be talking about trends for 2020.
Ooh.
But in that, I feel that it's important for us to consider what's going to be going on in the world for us to be able to make our goals, to plan how the year is going to go, to figure out what we want to do in our lives.
That's
This
true.
is a big day.
That's true. And you know what's really funny? I remember, I was being I was on Facebook,
As you
no
do.
shade. And it was really funny because somebody posted this thing that said, I'm not gonna pay these bills yet until I see how Iran responds. And I was like, that's funny, dark, but very funny.
Yeah. Man.
Left turn, sorry. But yeah, dreams,
Got dark
goals.
really fast. Yeah, dreams, goals. Like, you got to know what's going on in the world before you take action, right? Who paid their bills? Before we get into all of that, though, we like to start our show with the...
Roses.
I literally almost said headband of the day.
Headband?
I meant,
What?
Do you know? I was going to say shout out of the day for those of you who are new around here. You might not know that we do shout outs every week, but that's what I wanted to get to. And I started thinking headband of the day because Chrissy Teigen and John Legend, every day when they're on vacation, they have this little, I guess, jingle that they sing. And it's a new headband that Chrissy wears every day. Headband of the day. And I guess that's what's on my mind.
All right.
But really, I want to do the shout out of the day.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I don't have any headbands.
Yeah, this is what happens when you have too many seizures.
Oh my
Also dark. So, my shout out of the day.
It only gets brighter from here.
You know what? I don't have a shout out yet. I'm going to need a minute, clearly. So,
Cool.
Josh, how about you go first?
Awesome, on point. All right, hot seat. Shout out of the day. I'm gonna give a shout out to all you guys who are listening.
Oh,
all
that's
the movers
cute
and
that we
shakers out
thought of
there.
that at the same time.
Oh, did we? Cool. You gonna?
You still mad?
Oh, really?
There ain't no
All right.
problem.
Well,
No, go ahead. I'm just kidding.
yeah, all the guys listening because this probably wouldn't really be a thing without listeners. So
That's
shout out
true.
to you guys. Shout out to the supporters.
Super dope. Yeah, that really is huge, especially because this is, let's see, we've been doing this since have we been doing this since 2018? I don't know, but it's 2020 and it feels like a milestone, to be like, oh yeah, a couple years ago, remember when you started listening? And a lot of the people are still here. I know, especially Chantel's family is really supportive and shout outs to them. But all of our listeners, Brenda from the Northeast,
Right.
super grateful for you guys. My shout out, you know what? My shout out of the day is actually for the city of Philadelphia. I think that what we're doing here is really important, further than these, I guess, few miles or the city. But I feel like we can really do something to make a change, right? And it's going to be more immediate within our area here in Philadelphia where we are broadcasting from. And so I want to shout out Philadelphia, but I also want to make a promise to Philadelphia, like what we're doing here is selfless and we want to make sure that we're making a difference. So we're going to do everything we can in this year to create positivity around us and, start one block at a time, one school at a time, one, I don't know, even if it's a bar at a time, wherever. Because you know how we
One
did
happy hour at a
Inclusivo.
time.
Yeah, because Inclusivo, sometimes it takes for you to be in a place of fun to really do some learning and connecting.
That's true.
But yeah, so shout out to Philadelphia. We're here for you this year.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Is there like a place for like people to like comment and well, not subscribe, but like and comment stuff like on like
Yes, so you guys, Usala Media actually has a YouTube channel, and we had previously been broadcasting live. So right now, for example, on Facebook, but it's now on YouTube.
oh, we're
So
like live right now?
yes, so you can go onto
finger
YouTube.
guns.
Yeah, go to the Usala Media page, and I always have it right here in front of me. And I check the comments as we're live.
Oh, cool.
So that we can have that interaction.
Oh, that's fun.
So, yeah, you guys head to USA Media. I usually share it on my Facebook, but my brain's not doing all that right now. We'll share it afterwards. But I head to YouTube, and we'll do that.
What would be really cool is if you guys left like a comment or something about maybe a episode that you like really liked or something that you really felt in touch with,
I like that. So take a few seconds. I'm sorry, you guys. I just turned on the live, right? Because I keep it on my iPad here, so I can talk to you guys. And I was really just taken aback at how I look.
We're live. Oh no, I didn't know that. I would have brushed my hair.
Oh yeah, all those
Wow,
curls.
jeez.
It looks fine. That's why I'm like, yeah, you didn't need to really do anything.
You know what? What are we talking about? Trends in 2020.
Trends in 2020. Josh being sensitive. It's like, no. So, I'm really excited about the shout outs. But yeah, let's get into these trends. First off, I was talking to Josh about this before the show, and it was why we thought it was important to discuss trends, right? I know it sounds cliche to talk about, what's going on in fashion, what's going on in business, what's going on in health, but the reason why we decided this was going to be a great episode for today, and by we I meant me, and then I talked to Josh about it, but he was cool about it, is because we realized that understanding your environment is going to help you be able to plan more efficiently. So, like you said, do you pay your bills? if there's war in the world, who knows? But, on a lighter level, just understanding what trends are in business might help you to be able to create plans in terms of how you're going to do some developing, and understanding what's going on in health might help you to, figure out some more effective ways or plan your goals around what's going to be available. So that's why we want to get into these trends. I hope it's helpful for you guys because in reading these trends, I found it helpful for me already. So, all right, we're going to get into business trends first.
Okay.
I just kind of figured alphabetical order.
Always a good plan.
So what I got this, just basically to cite this source, it's Forbes had written this post beginning of the year, January 2nd. Some things might be changing, but overall they update their articles if anything changes. So this should be a pretty reputable source. And basically there are 12 business trends for 2020 that they're highlighting, and I thought they were really, really exciting. So first trend of 2020, we're just going to dive right into it.
Awesome.
Consumers are still spending.
Yes.
I know that sounds like, yeah, duh. But no, I really was wondering when developing, for example, my business with the shirts and the customized apparel and the gifts, do people have money anymore? Because this economy.
Do people have money? Hey, Gary V always says if your content's good, if you produce good things, people are gonna buy it.
That's right.
Right? So it's like, and the market's gonna tell. The market doesn't lie. If you're good, the market will let you know. If you're not, the market will let you know.
That's real. But also, I remember in the recession, 2008, they being, these business analysts and all, had noted that when the economy was down and people weren't spending, they were actually spending less on high ticket items, cars, vacations, and things like that. But they were actually spending more on things that made them feel good, instant gratification. So, for example, gyms or makeup or clothing, little things that they could buy. And you know what? That's reassuring for my business.
It's always good to know.
So it's saying consumers are still spending while the U.S. economy will grow modestly, and they're estimating about 2.5% in 2020. Consumer sentiment is still strong. People are spending 2/3 of the U.S. economy. Business to consumer companies will be performing well. So we'll be all right.
Hey.
And then, according to the CBRE, we'll figure out what that is in a minute. Online sales will grow another 14%. Okay, you guys, just a little bit of a plug. My business is online if you guys want to check that out.
Hashtag shameless plug.
But e-commerce is huge. Basically, the forecast for e-commerce sales is that people, one, don't want to be going out to the stores anymore. Right. And then when they're shopping, they like to have, digital impact. So having things, and this is what I'm thinking, having things like, Facebook posts, leading people to your site, making sure that people know when you're having flash sales and things like that, taking part in things like Cyber Monday. I think that's going to be important. Yeah, so that's that.
I agree. I concur.
You concur? Okay. That's good. I like that. All right, you guys. The second one is, this is a business trend. They're saying that there are going to be a lot of streaming wars, which I get. Because streaming is huge right now. Disney Plus, Hulu, Netflix.
Peacock.
Does anybody buy cable?
NBC. I think I have feels on that. Hits close to home.
You buy cable?
Because Laura, my girlfriend, she says she wants to just turn on the TV and turn it on. And I'm like, just have the TV work.
That's what she had said.
And so I'm trying to get it to a point where, if we get a smart TV, it's the same thing.
Right.
You turn it on, you just go to, your different channel is your different streaming service.
What does that say about us as millennials? We like that instant gratification.
But at what cost, though?
Right.
At the cost of Xfinity. Right.
So. I have a lot to say about that, actually.
Same.
So what we're going to do is leave you guys on that cliffhanger. Do you stream? Do you pay for cable? Why or why not? Leave us a comment. We'll be back just after this break to talk about how we feel about the streaming trends.
What do you think you're doing, Kevin?
Was just gonna drive home.
There are several warning signs present that you shouldn't be driving.
Like hearing voices?
Like your text-to-emoji ratio?
Oh man, the selfies.
Selfie. Nailed it.
We all have warning signs that let us know that we're probably not okay to drive. Mine is pretending to be your subconscious.
Craig, come on man, let's split a ride home.
Sometimes the things we do or say can make others feel hurt, such a weirdo, excluded, or isolated. Everything you say and do creates an impact.
How am I supposed to save the whole world?
You can't think about saving the world. You have to think about saving one person.
Because of you, someone's entire life can change. You don't have to be a superhero to have a positive impact.
Friends?
Friends.
Hey besties, welcome back to the Vida show. If you're just tuning in, today we are talking about the trends of 2020. I have with me Josh Hawkins, and we have Dylan on engineering.
RD Dub Jig, get it.
We just learned his DJ names, DJ Dill D. He's also, did you know that our producer, I know I'm taking a tangent, our engineer out here is a whole music producer.
A whole music producer. We got Timbaland in the booth right now.
This is not a drill, so shout outs to him. So going back to what we were talking about just before this break, though, because I could get really sidetracked on RD Dub G here. We were talking about streaming, and Forbes is predicting that in 2020, streaming wars are going to be rampant. Streaming is going to be the main source of TV watching. But you're saying in your household, I mean, no judgment, you still pay for cable.
Yes. So what I was going to say is that, so I measured it out, and with what we pay now with Xfinity, so it's like what's really funny is that I got the most cheapest. Yep, that's how we're signed 2020. It's fine. I got the
Words
cheapest. I got the cheapest account, which was actually the Spanish channel, the Spanish package.
Oh, see, that's rude.
It's interesting. It's definitely interesting. I'll say that. But so we get like basic cable and like a lot of like Telemundo, Univision, that kind of thing.
You better with your accent. Well done.
Duolingo, let's go. And so when I factored it out with just cable or like just internet plus Hulu, like Hulu Live, it rounds about to being the same thing. But to me, it's a better cost because I get so much more of stuff that I would actually watch.
Okay.
So like right now, we just really watch like Ion Channel and My PHL maybe. So like we're watching cop shows and Modern Family. That's all we're watching.
But do you need anything else in the world?
Yes, because the what is it? Australian Open is probably going to be happening really soon.
Right, that's stuff that you're into.
Ooh, that's stuff that you're into.
No. Okay, that sounded terrible. My issue is I don't watch TV.
Okay.
Like I like ever. So.
Right. Yeah,
for me, it doesn't matter.
But what's really funny is that I remember seeing. So there was once again, I was on Facebook,
as you do,
and there was a picture. It was like a comic picture, and they were like, "Oh, I got like Hulu. I got Hulu and Netflix." So they put away like this pirate hat, aka piracy. And so like they put it away, but then like the next panel shows like now you have like all of these streaming services, but like you have to pay for them all, which is like it starts to add up if you get all of them. And so then they go back and like dust off like the pirate hat. And I was like, I'm not endorsing piracy. I'm just saying I understand it, because
that's funny.
Because like what the Hulu Live TV, I want to say is $45 or $50 or something like that.
Oh, see, I didn't know about that.
Yeah. And so then you have that, but then Netflix is like $7. If
right,
you want
and then you need Disney Plus, because like, come on.
Which is actually partnered now with Hulu. You can get
and then
that
YouTube
together.
TV.
Oh, really? I don't do YouTube TV.
But a lot of people do YouTube Red.
That's
I mean, it's not necessarily
Maybe I'm
YouTube
just
TV,
too
but
old.
to skip the commercials, because I don't really watch TV, but I like to watch a lot of YouTube videos.
Gotcha.
I don't subscribe to that. I'm just saying. It's some bougies. Yeah.
But yeah, but then if you get even just those two alone, plus just internet, which it seems to be such a haggle to just get just internet. So many people just want to like, all right, you can have internet and our basic cable. And it's like, I don't want your basic cable. I'm willing to give you money. I just want internet.
Yeah.
And like, I've heard that you have to like haggle it and you really have to, because if you just get the people who just are internet, like clear internet, then you're not getting like the greatest connection. Like I had clear growing up. It wasn't fun.
Yeah, and I have to make an admission too. I actually do pay for cable also.
All this shade. We're sitting under the same tree.
Well,
crazy.
the basic package, because of that same thing, I wanted the best internet possible. I do have an at-home business, and in order to get the best internet, I had to get the package with the cable, or I was going to be paying more.
Oh, do you do the Fios?
Xfinity.
Oh.
I have Xfinity.
Oh, you got money.
They got money. So it was so funny because I was actually on vacation and we were talking about, haggling with these streaming services. And Comcast called me and they're like, hey, you're coming up on your anniversary. So, your price is going to go up and blah, blah. I was like, on anniversaries, don't I get presents? Can we get a discount anniversary present?
That's bold.
So,
Just to let you know.
I called back to cancel. I ended up upgrading my internet. I don't even know how this happened.
I get that. So like when they say like, oh, we're gonna like, well, your 2 years is up, so and then you have to like do the back and forth in the dance. I don't want to do the dance. I just want to pay you.
The dance doesn't work
money.
anymore.
Does it? Sometimes
No.
you just got upgraded. What do you mean?
For more money.
I thought you were able to like.
No, sir. Because I wanted better internet, but I told them I don't want cable. And they're like, oh, but you know what's going to be cheaper for you if you get cable? And then they said, and the phone.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't need any of that.
Right. So I really just don't feel like doing the dance. If there's a place, leave a comment down below. If there is a place to just get internet, let me know, because I'm searching. I'm searching hard, and I'm searching high and low, and I'm just not finding it.
What happened to those Roku? Wasn't there something called Roku?
Oh, they're still a thing, but you still need internet to connect to like your Netflix, your stuff like that.
Look at me uninformed. Yeah, no, I might start a just internet company in 2020.
Wow. Do it. Do it.
Don't we wish,
that's
right?
Like the electrical gold mine. Do it.
Yeah, you could probably buy towers from mainstream phone companies like AT&T and Sprint.
You're like so far ahead than I am right now. Is that the first step?
I don't know. I just want a piece of the airways, man.
Right? Jeez.
So, okay, so that is a major trend. You guys, let us know. Will you be streaming? The S&P 500 companies launch a product into a crowded sector at the same time, like these streaming services. Obviously it becomes a war. So we're thinking about competition growing for these products such as Netflix, Disney, Apple, Amazon, and others. Let us know which ones you guys use. Me, all of them. So the third trend.
# pirate hat. Just kidding.
See, I plead the fifth. For the third trend, they're saying that tech is under attack. So and I'm just going to read this straight from the article because it's a little confusing to me. Once the darlings of Wall Street, tech stocks are under fire. In Europe, Facebook, Apple, Netflix, and Google are under attack by EU regulators over privacy. And here in the U.S., we're seeing some politicians propose antitrust actions. In 2020, the California Consumer Privacy Act will come into play, which they're believing will be a preview for what will happen on the federal level. And so we're going to be looking at more of a breakup talk in terms of these tech companies, what they're allowed to do, the privacy restrictions that they have, what information they're allowed to use. Mm-hmm. We kind of knew this, right? Mm-hmm. With everything that happened in the 2016 election cycle with Facebook. I just hadn't really considered Netflix and Google and things like that. But if you really think about it, they have your IP address. They know who's logging in, who you're connected to. There's a lot of information to be gathered from that.
So, funny, there was a Black Mirror episode where the
Was that on cable?
Was that on? I don't know. I don't know how I watched it. I literally don't know how I watched it, but I remember watching it where this guy he had a hostage situation, and it was like huge, like everybody's like tuning in about it and whatnot. And somehow the cops couldn't figure out who this guy was or what was going on, but the guy wanted to talk to the leader of, it wasn't Facebook, but it was Facebook because it was Black Mirror.
Okay.
And so the analysts, like the people behind the screen on Facebook, were able to like hack into his profile and like learn all this stuff about him that the cops like just didn't know.
Right.
So it was very interesting, and it just showed that how much of our lives are like actually on and attached to these things like that. It was a really interesting episode. A lot of people like don't like Black Mirror, or at least the latest season of Black Mirror, because they thought it was like too political. Yeah. And I'm just like, well, that's they
Wake
kind
up,
of
guys.
they always like kind of just shine a mirror to like what's going on. Like
Yeah.
the
Hence the title.
season 2, I think, was mainly about technology. That's
Yeah.
a tangent. Anywho,
I like the tangent. You know, I'm about it because I was just thinking about how much I learned in the job that I was in before this, and I was at an independent expenditure, and so I did a lot of ads in terms of, you know, political ads, basically, and I realized there that there's so much information that one can be inferred, but two that you directly give to these platforms such as Instagram, Facebook, and you know, like me, a layman, I know how to figure out a lot of stuff about people just from these ads, and also a lot of it is machine learning, so that's next level. Like they're like, oh, well, you know, you got on at 5:56 generally, and it seems like you only log on at this time. I wonder if you don't have internet at home. Is this like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's just so much that they can infer, and so be careful, but also, what can you do? Like,
it is what it is. Like the world is online right now.
Yeah.
For a lot of people, that's just how we live life.
Yeah.
And you do have to be safe. Like, but I don't know.
You know, sometimes it's wrong. Like, I get a lot of like baby ads and diapers and all kind of things. It's just because I'm really into babies, and I have like 26 nieces and nephews, and you know, and a new godson. Welcome to the world, Nicolas. But so I'm always looking up baby stuff. Like, oh, I wonder what I could send them. I wonder what game we can play next time. And so they're like, oh, parenting 101, and they give me these ads. You know, like sometimes it's wrong. Maybe we can make it a goal in 2020 to trick these algorithms.
Can't trick the algorithm. Skynet.
I mean, I don't know. I beg to differ. In certain ways, I think we might be able to trick the algorithm. Okay, so we have Chantel giving comments. And Chantel, did you know that she has internet only with Verizon? Girl, you better teach me how to do that. I can't wait to call
We're
her
gonna
later and figure that
we're gonna
out.
have to chat.
Right, we shall chat. And she has Netflix, Amazon Prime, and Black Mirror is on Netflix. You know that she knows. And she even wrote it here. Every episode we ever have, Chantel has a Netflix recommendation. She is the Netflix liaison. Like, I wonder when they're going to reach out to our show and offer sponsorship. Because I'm telling you, Netflix, listen up, okay? We have mentioned you in every single episode. I mean, almost every. Don't
Don't
quote me. But almost every episode, and it's thanks to Chantel Brown. And yes, she will accept sponsorships. That being said, we're gonna take a small break before we get into the next segment where we continue talking about business trends for 2020.
$150 over $90.
180 over 111.
160 over 110. I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure looks like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from invisible or silent. If you've come off your treatment plan, get back on it or talk with your doctor to create an exercise, diet, and medication plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
If I would have followed a treatment plan, I would not be in this situation.
If you love them enough to suck the snot out of their nose at 4 a.m., then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Hey besties, welcome back to the Vida show. This is Julie. If you're just tuning in, we have with us Josh Hawkins.
Hey.
And our DJ, sound, music producer, engineer, Dylan. We're so excited.
We need like a unique sound for him. You know how like, the Neptune sound like
Right.
You know? Like,
Ooh,
we need a...
can we go with that? Because I kind of like it.
Well, no, because Pharrell might be like, I'll be like, hey, royalties. We'll be like, sorry, so sorry, no.
Oh, we are so great at tangents, and I love it. So welcome back to the Vida show. We're just going to take a little bit of time to let you guys know that the Vida show is, completely open to welcoming any of your sponsorships should you be interested in sharing about your business, about what you have going on in the world. Usla Media is a really, really powerful organization growing here in Philadelphia. We really want to make a change. So anything that you can do to contribute to what we are doing, we are glad to have you reach out to us at contact@viera.com, and we would love to collaborate. That being said, we're talking about business trends for 2020. And so far, we have been talking about streaming wars, tech, and
Privacy.
different organizations, what they're doing. One thing that we haven't discussed yet, we have talked about politics a little bit, is the tariffs that we had faced in 2019. And should they be continued in 2020? It's basically up in the air still. But even if we made a deal with China, any actions to unwind business practices would be, it would take some time to implement. So there's really, keep it in mind. But at the end of the day.
So, quick question, because I'm not that savvy, like I'm not that politically savvy. Are tariffs pretty much like, okay, you can sell your stuff here, but it's going to cost you?
It's going to cost you more, like almost taxes.
Okay.
So the issue with tariffs, so let's say, we're going to start charging you more for imports from China to the U.S. Like one, that makes it harder for them to be able to sell their goods. But in turn, a lot of times what happens is these countries that are facing these tariffs will retaliate, charging more for their goods. And we rely on a lot of lot of Chinese goods.
Yeah.
So it's just a cycle of...
it doesn't make sense to charge people more to sell you stuff, because then I feel like that's business 101. Like, well, if the price goes up, then we have to raise our prices so that we still make a profit. And then I don't know. That's above my pay grade, but
basically it's blocking a market for them.
Right.
But we still need a lot of things.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It doesn't make sense.
It's really dangerous. It's not a good idea, but such is life under the Trump administration. Let's continue.
Or some administrations. We don't want to be we don't want to name call.
Oh, oops.
It's out there.
I mean, it's there. This is where we're living right now. Okay, you guys. 5. AI protects the universe. This is the title of the next business trend. Basically,
Space Force.
Adversarial machine learning. It's basically like when, like we were saying, with these algorithms, also applications that can protect us from being hacked. For example, they cost a lot, but they're basically saying that there's going to be a lot more AI products in 2020. And something else that I read separately was that there would be a lot of avatars being used in business. So although it's machines, they want it to feel more personalized. So, for example, there's a skincare company called SK2. I think they're Japanese, and really, really great skincare for anybody looking for amazing skincare. They have this Petra oil in it. It changes your life, guys. But that aside, they are using...
Sponsorship.
They're using, I guess, AI that looks like people as customer service representatives. I don't know. It's just like we're really getting into this robotic.
So like when you like
phase.
log in, you're met with like a person on your screen,
Yeah,
avatar person?
but really, it's this like robot responding as a chatbot.
Oh, okay.
I think it's really interesting. I've seen it a lot in the beauty industry where they'll have like a face and.
I feel like that's like if you're when I was looking for internet, you go on like their website and like there's like the little chat bubble at the bottom and
Yeah,
they're probably
like that.
hey, notice that you've been looking at internet. You want to chat about it? I'm like, no, Jessica, go away. Like,
Yeah, they always have like a little name there, and then I'm gonna skip a couple of these.
No shade to any Jessica who works in customer retail.
Is it really Jessica though, or is it like an
Or is it
avatar?
AI? Don't know.
So another thing that was huge in the end of our last decade was the Me Too movement. That's not going to end in 2020 because equal rights is still something that
still a thing.
it doesn't, and there's been so much progress, yet there's still so much further that we need to go.
Looking at you, Mummers Parade. Just kidding.
Looking at you guys. Oh gosh. So there was an 80% increase in the number of sexual harassment bills introduced in the state legislature this year, this past year. Many of those will go into effect in 2020, which is huge, these extra protections. And with them comes awareness from employers who are implementing equal pay strategies. You guys, women are still making 75 cents on the dollar, as opposed to men. Things like salary adjustments, maternity leave, flexible work arrangements, and childcare options are going to be evaluated a little bit more stringently in 2020. And you know what? I'm excited about that.
Now, I guess this is just like in America kind of a thing? Because I
feel
feel
this is a Forbes US article.
Okay, gotcha. Because I feel like I always hear like across the seas, it's like a totally different world.
Right, like Switzerland is huge.
Right.
Don't they have a really great paternal leave?
Probably. I think somebody probably gets like 6 months or something like that. You get like half the year.
Not a drill. But yeah, this is really powerful. I think it's interesting that they chose to call this section the Me Too section because, yes, equal rights, I get that, but there's still a lot specifically in terms of the like African American racism, the true movements, and I don't know. I just think there's just so much that this little section didn't encompass. But yeah, equal rights. So, let's get some more of those. All right, 8. Man in space. According to space.com, in 2020, SpaceX is planning a Demo 2 mission that will carry NASA astronauts Doug Hurley and Bob. I'm sorry. The first thing that came in my head was
Marley?
Sound like two like white people. I wish there was some. I just wish that there was some diversity.
I wish Dwayne was up in space. All right, where's Dwayne at? Where's Malcolm?
I'm just saying, when can we get some Latinos up in astronaut school? But great for them. They're probably great people. I'm just saying, I would like to see some diversity there. Anyway,
Coming off of equal rights.
Oh, we got so much work to do, y'all. Basically, private space travel is to follow. 2020 will also mark the beginning of a litany of military and commercial drone flights by unnamed spacecrafts, which are nimbler than satellites. That's kind of cool. Kind of crazy, kind of scary, but
I heard they're so like the whole like travel into space, that whole ride, it's mad expensive. Like only the 1% are going.
Well, yeah, maybe the 0.5 too.
It sounds cool. It's just like, yeah, sure, send them up first. If it goes wrong, hey,
oh gosh,
more money back in the marketplace.
I think it's kind of cool though. Like we are in the future. And then, okay, speaking about the future, we were talking about these avatars, and Chantel mentioned that she's asked health insurance reps during a chat if they were a live person. Because they weren't answering her question correctly, and they kept sending links that weren't relevant. So clearly it was an avatar. And they ended up saying yes, but she put a little face like, I don't believe you. That's really interesting. So space travel, avatars, lying bots. What else?
George Jetson.
Next on the list is the IPOs. Here come the IPOs. We are looking at the more IPOs. So basically, companies that will be going public, meaning that they will then have stock shares for people to be able to buy. Some of those include Airbnb, GitLab, Neptune Energy, and others. I think amongst those named, I'm most interested in Airbnb because that's interesting because Airbnb is based off of private properties, but you have to. I don't know. I wonder how that works.
Who gets the shares in that?
Yeah.
Because with the house owner who is a part of it, are they considered?
Do they get shares?
Yeah,
that's what I'm wondering.
Like,
or do they have to
like
purchase
on
shares
the board? Like
that's interesting because some companies they give you shares like Vida Dialysis. When you're an employee of Vida, they give you stock, which is really cool. I like that. Okay, so next it says business roles in social change. Perhaps at no time in history have businesses been more in tune with the responsibility to protect the environment, ensure equity in social issues, and advocate for these issues. So while many startups and social enterprises have long sought out double and triple bottom line results, there is a sea change underfoot where more traditional businesses are seeking out their purpose beyond making a profit. I love that. And you know what? I'm seeing that. For example, this is the only one I can think of right now is Tom's. You know how you buy a pair and then they'll donate a pair? I really want to consider that in my business practices this year. I wonder how many people are considering, not just the bottom line, but what change you're making in the world. And I needed that little reminder to be like, okay, so what am I going to do? What is going to be my change?
Finding that cause and then going with it.
Yeah,
That's
totally.
really cool. I feel like sometimes it can be done and it's a good thing, and sometimes it's almost like hey, look, we did this thing. We got like our gold star,
Yeah.
So be careful of those people.
Yeah.
Not to be cynical, because I still think, hey, if they're actually like giving the money to that person, then it's all fine and good and like whatever. It'll all work itself out in the end. But it's
no,
just
I do get that. I get that 100%. Hi, Sean. Sean Shipley says, hey, Josh and Julie. Or Julian.
Sean
Josh,
Shipley.
was first.
He's on Twitch. Shipley Games. Go follow him. Yeah, shout out to Sean.
Shout out to Sean. But to your point, and we just have a few seconds before we go into the last segment, I saw a sticker shop, for example, said, I'm really distraught about what's going on in Australia, donated $1,000, and then posted the receipt on Instagram. And I felt mixed emotions about it. I was just like, did you have to put the whole receipt? Like, I don't know. Like, she drew, koalas and people were buying it, and she said that she was going to donate it, but it just felt like, I don't know, it felt just like, weird. Look at me. But then again, you kind of have to, because people lie, and I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it.
But it brings awareness to it, so it's good.
So let's talk about that a little bit more in the final section. We'll give you guys a break. How do you feel about when people are doing good and they share it? What is the best way to manage that in 2020?
Being prepared is a part of who you are, but it's especially important in the case of a disaster. Be informed about possible emergencies in your area. Make a plan that covers where you go in an emergency. Build a kit with the things you need to survive. There's no one more capable of planning for your situation than you. Start your plan today. Go to ready.gov/myplan.
Regresando a la escuela, sí tenía miedo. No sabía si iba a poder hacerlo. Una de las maestras que está ahí es la señora Araceli. Ella siempre tomaba su tiempo ayudándome a mí. 50% es entrando por la puerta. El otro 50% es haciendo el trabajo. Nunca es muy tarde para obtenerlo.
Encuentra clases gratis para adultos cerca de ti en completatudiploma.org.
Hey, besties, welcome back to Vida Show. I would introduce my guest with me today, Josh, but he doesn't know who the Golden Girls are, so we're just going to cut him out for a second. Welcome back, as today we are talking about business trends for 2020. Josh, first off, we're going to take a tangent.
Okay.
You mentioned that you didn't know where our little intro song was from.
Yeah, I didn't. I thought that they just got Chantel in the booth and was like, all right, do your thing.
Everybody send all your judgment to the comment box. As Josh has just admitted to not knowing who the Golden Girls were.
Sorry.
You know Betty White?
I did know her, but I didn't know that's where she's from.
I just want to know if you know anything. So Chantel says what? I'll put the inflection in there. I don't know if she really said it like that. So just before this break, we were talking about how businesses are trying to take a role in social change, and what is the line where when you're making a positive, change or contribution, what is the proper way of sharing that? Should you share it? Should you not share it? Is it bad to share it? Is it awkward to share it? Is it the best choice to share it? What do you feel about that?
I was just thinking about it, and you know what? You're not going to please everybody, and at the end of the day, nobody knows the story behind that post, whether it be good or bad. Nobody knows it, and people are going to judge you regardless. There's always going to be somebody on some talk show host, on some talk show throwing crap your way. So you know what? If you're doing the good thing and you know what you did and you know that it was good, then just live in that space. Because I think if you do start thinking about how it's going to be perceived, you might get the paralysis of analysis and not do anything. And so you don't want to get caught there. Zig Ziglar said, being caught in the stoop, like being caught in the squat, where you just like, oh, I'm gonna go do it, and then like you just never really do it.
Right.
So yeah, you know what? Do you, and don't worry about the haters, because you're gonna have haters. If you don't have haters, you're probably not doing it right.
Right.
So.
And you know what? I kind of had a little bit of a paradigm shift, because I'm thinking about the company, the sticker shop that shared their contribution, and at first I saw it and I thought, like, why? And then I thought, but that was really nice. At the end of the day, I was really proud of what they had done. And if you think about it, the world is going to be so judgmental. If you say you did something, you need receipts lately. Yeah, so you know what? Share it, because you might inspire somebody else to do so.
Right.
And even if it's 20 cents, that's 20 more cents that you could contribute to something positive. I just want to take a second to note that Chantel did say, what? The way I said. She had confirmed that here in the comment box. So thank you, Chantel.
Cool.
I was just as shocked. Anyway, I know this is a show for millennials, so maybe our branding was a little bit off in choosing the Golden Girls. But I will say, any millennial with any sense will need to check out the Golden Girls. Please watch an episode or two.
But like, what channel was it on?
Wasn't it Lifetime? I don't know. I looked at Dylan, our engineer, and he's like,
doesn't know either. So what? We're gonna cancel RDWG because he don't know. No, it's and if it was Lifetime, then I definitely wasn't watching it because I didn't have cable growing up. So
right, it's a cable
sorry,
thing.
my
Fair.
socioeconomic status didn't allow me to learn about the Golden Girls.
Right, no problem.
Maybe you guys should have paid our bills when I was growing up.
I really have no rebuttal. All right, so wow, jeez Louise.
People are gonna hate no matter what.
So this one is the next trend.
Okay, cool.
And it's related to what we do here, specifically in terms of Latinos. So there's changes in Latin America. Duh. That's what it
title?
says next. Yes, that's the title.
You could have did better, Forbes. You could've-
Right. I felt like they really rushed this, but also it has really good information in it. So, no judgment. According to CNBC, Venezuela's hyperinflation rate has increased to 10 million. Wait, 10 million%. I read that right, didn't I? Yes, I did. Increased to 10 million%. Can you please read that? Because, wow.
Venezuela's hyperinflation rate. Oh, but isn't there aren't they going through a lot of stuff now?
Well, yeah. Did you not just read that's at 10 million%? That's a lot of stuff to go through, okay? And then also the U.S. imposed steel and aluminum tariffs on Brazil and Argentina earlier this year. But their economies are expected to grow. They didn't say anything about Venezuela's economy.
Well, because aren't they dealing with a corrupt politician? But
oh yeah,
it's the top three heads. If he gets kicked out, the next person is also corrupt. If they get kicked out, the next person it's like a whole chain of command kind of a thing.
Yeah,
so.
it's not safe there for them right now. And then also 2020 is set to bring renegotiation of the NAFTA agreements and hopefully new ambitions for the U.S. companies that would like to begin production in Mexico. Basically, globalization isn't going anywhere, but, everybody has their problems. That's what I heard from that.
Sounds good.
Sad, but true. Okay, and then Europe, the first thing I think about when I think about Europe recently is the Brexit, but it says strikes in France are slowing production in Germany, and Brexit makes for a slumping European economy. Still, when we went to Europe last year, the pound in London and the euro in France were stronger than our dollar. So let's see how that says. But basically, their economy could be sparked into recession.
That's not great for exchange, right?
Not for us.
Right.
I mean, it's good for them.
Yeah. Shout out to them.
Shout out to them last year because it says that the global economy could be sparked into a recession. Business leaders should be proactive in identifying predictive indicators that correlate with demand in the industry sector, such as various purchasing and durable good orders. Basically, it sounds like there's drama everywhere.
There's drama everywhere.
There's drama everywhere, you guys. So let's go back to the U.S., though, because this is what we're using in order to create our goals for the year, right? So for those of you, especially entrepreneurs here in Philadelphia, in the U.S., it sounds like there's a lot of opportunity in terms of tech. There's a lot of opportunity in terms of online sales, health and wellness. And you really just have to be forward thinking in terms of how you're going to do a lot of marketing because there's a lot of competition.
Especially if you're streaming.
Especially if you're streaming like us right now. I mean, but we got a few watchers on here, and it said, "Oh, let's check our comments." So yes, Chantel says that she has had issues with how. Oh, okay. So this is going back to the contributions. She's had issues with how things were perceived, so she agrees with you and your sentiments, Josh. And yes, the Golden Girls did play on Lifetime, and she watched reruns in college. So you could have watched it in college.
What channel? She's on the same
Lifetime. It was 42 in Harrisburg. I don't know what it's. And then, yeah. So please check that out, you guys. I hope this was helpful today. I really do. I really do. We joke around a lot, but there's a lot of really good information here that I know I'm personally going to take and learn from and apply in terms of my goals and business for this year. But I don't know. How about you? What is the biggest, I guess, takeaway for you after this episode?
One of the biggest takeaways, one of the things I'm actually really interested in seeing is the streaming wars and how that plays out.
Mm-hmm.
Is there going to be a thing where they, why can't Hulu and Netflix just band together and just become a streaming service and just offer a certain price and boom, that's your bundle, right? And I wonder if that is the next step in this streaming war, that some a conglomerate just comes, probably Disney, they got the money. Yeah. They just come in and just wrangle who they want on their team. It's this is like your Disney Plus streaming.
Yeah.
You're gonna have Hulu, you're gonna have Netflix, you're gonna have us.
See, I doubt that for a couple of reasons. First, there are limitations in terms of monopolization, in terms of Disney wrangling up Netflix, Hulu, or big companies like that. That would be a total monopoly. And secondly, and one of the things we discussed was their, I guess, contributions and social awareness, and each of these companies have stark differences in terms of how they feel socially. And I've even seen actors and actresses that will work for example, Hulu, but wouldn't do anything on Apple TV or, so there are a few things that I think will limit that. At least I don't see that happening in 2020, but you never know.
Yeah. But I do think, even with like NBC having like a streaming service now, it's like kind of late to the game, but like we'll see how it pans out. But
right.
That's kind of what I'm interested in. How about you?
You know what? I'm interested in the social awarenesses and how businesses are going to, take a stand and contribute to society. You guys here in the Vida show, we are promising to make sure to be aware and give back socially. Josh, you're giving back already by being here today. I want to thank you for being here on the Vida show. Welcome to 2020, you guys. Stay woke, stay informed, and join us back here every week, and we will be sure to provide good content.
Awesome.
Thank you for being a friend.
Travel around the world and back again with Betty.